Hello and welcome. Today is all about mixing. Okay, this is how I'd mix a song as soon as possible, as fast as possible. If I had to start again, it's actually really easy. It's actually really easy. An amazing mix is about contrast, great balance, and great sound selection. But really, what we're talking about today is focus. Mixing is all about focus. What is focus? It's simply the thing that's in your mind when you're listening to a song. When you're listening to the track, is it the vocals? Is it the drums? Is it the sound design? Is it something else? Your mix is only good as your production. Differences are what fill a big and rich space. A few important notes there too. But the main purpose of this video is to tell you that mixing is all about volume, guys. It's volume. That's it. That's really it. Like, that's the whole point of mixing, okay? Recall that we write a song, right? We give it a structure. And then we fill that structure with sounds that we like. That's where our unique sound comes in, right? If you make music, you have your own gifts and talents. You have your own unique sound. That's where your unique sound comes out. And then it's time to balance the sounds. It's time to mix. It's all about volume. Everything is volume, EQ, volume. Compression, volume. Why? Well, what are we doing with an EQ? It's just partial volume, right? If I add an EQ to my master here in Ableton, it's just volume. Well, you can't see that because my pretty face is in the way. As you can see, it's just volume, right? It's just volume. It's just volume, dude. We balance everything with volume only. What is the listener focused on throughout the song? Okay. That is the goal of mixing. That's the entire goal. I don't care what you make. I don't care if your song is you whistling and there's like you're whistling and playing the guitar and that's your whole song. What's the focus? Is it the guitar? Is it the whistle? Like what do you want the listener to be focused on? See, we can only really focus on like one thing at a time. And what I mean by that is if let's say you have in your mix a vocalist slash singer and a piano and a guitar, and they're all the same volume and they're playing different melodies, well, you're going to have a winner. You know what I mean? There's either going to be competition or one of them is going to kind of stand out. And it's going to stand out to our ear because for some reason we are drawn to what's loudest. And not only necessarily what's loudest, but what is mixed in such a way that it is the most upfront to our ear. Might sound complicated, but it's really not. Again, it's just like if I had to learn like professional mixing in 10 seconds, it's literally just go from the first second to the last second, like, okay, literally every second of the song you're mixing throughout the entire song, scan it, and then ask yourself this question. What is the listener focused on? And really, to be more specific, what should the listener be focused on throughout the song? And what answers that question is your intention as an artist. With your art, with your song, are you making hip hop? Okay, great. Well, then you got to make sure the vocals are mixed. And so you got to make sure the vocals are up front. You got to make sure you can hear the rap, the singing, whatever. Are you making even house music? I was going to say you're making house music. It's going to depend. This is a remix that I'm working on to give you a little. So that's like the 10-second overview of how to actually mix. That's like literally that's the whole thing. What should the listener be focused on? And then you use these tools to answer that question. You use those tools to answer that question well, and that's the entire thing. There's more nuance to it, yes. There's more subtleties of dynamic EQ and mid-side and automation, but I'm telling you, all of it comes down to this. Mixing is all about balance, and balance is about volume. Okay. What was I going to do? I forget, so let me just show you this this build up here. If you like bass music, you've probably heard this song originally. I know what I was going to show you now. So well, let me show you the drop first. I make jazz dubstep.
Mind pluck. What the fuck?
Oh yeah, we got some trumpets, we got some saxophones over here. Look at these bells. Oh yeah, boy, we got the big band here. Boom. Focus. Even right there, like, what are you focused on? It's the saxophones. Now, I haven't formally mixed this down yet, but I want, it's big band, so I want you to be listening to the saxophones, which are playing the lead melody, and then kind of in the background, this is actually something I want to work on with the mixdown. I have trumpets, I have some trombones, so we got some trumpets here. Great, and then we got some bones. So actually right now, this is a really good example. So if I let's mute the rhythm section for a second. You hear how when the trumpets come in, they kind of like overlap over the saxophones? Well, that's because the trumpets and the saxophones are at a similar volume right now, and they're in a similar range of the frequency spectrum. And you hear with the trombones here, when we have that little that kind of like forte piano crescendo in English. We have a quick accent, we go quiet, and then we go back up. Forte piano crescendo. When we get back to that crescendo, you can kind of hear that the bones here, the trombones, are actually overlapping the saxophones a little bit, and we're losing clarity of the saxophones. And in that moment, the focus is shifting. Let's listen to that. Here, let's listen to that. But it still works, but you see what I mean? So this is focus. It's what literally is your mind focused on when you're listening to the song. That's the whole concept. And the rhythm section is not supposed to be the focus. It's supposed to be in the background. Right? If you're curious about how I make any of this jazz stuff, please ask me. I'd be happy to do a video on that, but I'm not going to be talking about that in this video. As you can see, it's not samples. Well, it is frozen now, but this is not like this is not a song that exists already. I created this, and I'm happy to show you how. But mixing is about focus. In terms of the actual mix down process, here's the precise step-by-step that you need to learn what I've learned in years in a few minutes. Step one, finish the production. So you've written your song, you've structured it, and you've produced the song. Okay, great. What you're going to do is you're going to come into your project folder, wherever you store your project, and just give me a second as I find this. This is the way I learned it. This is what I love to do. Save it as, so it's Mindplug is, again, this is a remix. So save it as produced, and then save a new version, call it mixed. And then we're going to come into the mixed version, and then we're going to bounce everything to audio. So all of this was actually MIDI originally, as opposed to audio. Now it's audio. And this sets a checkpoint in my process where I know it is now time to balance the sounds. There's no going back now. The track's done. I'm not going to reproduce it. And at this point, it'd actually probably benefit me more to start a new song with what I've learned from just doing the mix down, if that makes sense. Given that my goal is to finish great songs. So we always make little sacrifices with that. But after that is where we do the process of, okay, let's go through the whole song, and then let's listen to the focus at every point in the song. Assuming you've picked great sounds that have great contrast, if you do this process and you simply adjust volume and EQ where needed, you're going to have an amazing, very professional sounding mix every time. Guaranteed. So yeah, right now, the focus is the saxophones, so if we mute those. It's sounding pretty good to me already in terms of like the balance. We might mess around with volume though. If I adjust the volume of the saxophones, we're gonna see, well, we're gonna hear that the focus shifts a little. See how now I'm more like, personally, I'm more listening to the bass almost. And I still am focusing on the saxophones, but now they're kind of just in the background. And it sounds like there's 4 to 6 different elements that are the same volume. And so I'm not really clear on, well, what's going on here. But if I bring these up, make these a little louder. Probably too loud there, but I always like to actually just close my eyes with this and like mess around. Just kind of. That feels good to me. So I actually brought it up a little bit. And something else I'll do in the mixdown phase is just little decisions to bring out the character of certain sounds and to make them a little better. So like, here's something that I love to do is I will just add fresh air to, a channel like this. But yeah, that's it. That's really the entire mixdown process. Do that for every channel. Go through the whole song and do this. Ask this question: what should the listener be focused on? And yeah, you know, your mix is only as good as your production. If your production's not good, the mixing isn't really gonna make this good. But if you have great production, the mixing will just really bring out everything that you've done. Yeah, that's mixing. That is how you have an amazing mix. This is how I mix all my tracks. Focus on this, use this, it will work. That's pretty much it. If you are curious to learn more from me, I do work with people one-on-one. It's really fun. Still have several slots left. They're going quick. I have a link in my calendar. I have a calendar link in my description, so you can check that out. This is what we do. Stuff like this. And yeah, you got a limited feedback for half a year. You'll make professional music in 6 months, guaranteed. Super cool. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. All right.